Hello everyone and welcome back to the third match of this first round, the second day of the first round here at the Canary Wharf Classic. And on court we have our next match, and it is Sourav Ghosal, the very fast Indian player, up against the man from Essex, the Londoner Peter Barker, who will have a lot of support here at this venue. So Sourav Ghosal, incredibly fast on the court, the 27-year-old born in Kolkata, really has been in good form and finds himself very high up the rankings. He's actually making his 5th appearance at this event and played some exceptional squash against James Willstrop here last year. Got a lot of plaudits, missing out narrowly 3-2 in that match. And he's up against Peter Barker, the strong left-hander from London. He's got a lot of support here. Of course, he did very well in this event last year, and in fact it is one of his favourites. He's been runner-up here twice, and who can forget the way he actually beat Nick Matthew last year in this event. So these two players have actually met 3 times, and Sourav Ghosal has not won one of them yet. However, he will fancy his chances here because he has been in great form and has been playing exceptionally well. So, and joining me in the commentary position once again is Kate Mason, the winner of The Voice of the Squash. Good evening, Kate.
Hello, how are you?
Are you...
I've been promoted.
Oh, you're
yeah.
a second, sorry. Sorry, you've been demoted again.
Oh no, can we just... would you like to vote for who you think is the best commentator in this van currently?
Well, I'm not going to do that, am I? Am I allowed
Apart
to
from you.
Oh, right. Okay, well, you're the winner then.
Yes, there we go. Perfect.
So are you, how are you finding the commentary at the moment?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's... I don't know. I don't want to say, oh yeah, it's all great, and I'm totally casual and everything's lovely.
It's so easy. You guys,
it's just,
it's just a walk in the park.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm enjoying it enormously, and it's great to see so much kids squash. And I'm hoping that this is the game. This is going to be a really good game. I hope, with lots of backwards and forwards. So
when you were looking at the draw, you thought that this was maybe the match that was going to stand out. What do you think that we can expect from tonight's match?
I think that we might see quite a lot of physicality on court from Pete Barker, who's famously quite... is aggro too much of a word? But you know what I mean.
Well, it's a controversial word.
But yeah, but he's also, very fit and strong, and I think he's going to try and hustle Sourav around the court.
There we see Omar Mossad. Of course, he was involved in that match yesterday evening.
Oh, your favourite
with his compatriot.
Your favourite match of all time, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How did you enjoy commentating on that?
It was hard. It was difficult commentating on that match, and Joe Barrington actually did lose the plot, I think, officially.
Well, as in went mad?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people would say he's already gone mad, but madder.
Fair enough.
So there we just saw Clive Smith, who's our central referee for this match. And I think you're absolutely right. I think we're going to see a real contrast in style between these two players. You're going to see the powerful metronomic movement and play from Peter Barker. And of course, we're going to see some very quick movement and good attacking play from Sourav Ghosal.
Yeah. The last time I saw him play was at the Manchester Worlds, when, in fact, he was playing Rami Ashur, who was injured. I remember spending most of the day sitting around waiting to find out if I could do an interview with Rami Ashur, who was hiding somewhere injured, and of course was injured and ended up going out. But yeah, he demolished Sourav even despite his injury. So
well, that's just how incredible he can be. Of course, Peter Barker, we're looking at there. He had a difficult end to last season, and of course had a few injuries, something that he wasn't necessarily used to because his body is so strong. But of course, slightly controversial. Tournament of Champions, where he had a couple of controversial games, maybe especially with Mathieu Castagnet, which was very much talked about between those two players, and then looking a lot more confident after that.
Tell me a bit more about those. I didn't see the Tournament of Champions really much at all.
Well, it was just there was a lot going through about maybe Peter Barker used all of his experience to get himself through that.
Is that a metaphor? Is that a euphemism? Goodness. I think experience means something different to you.
Well, I don't think Mathieu Castanet will think very fondly of that match. Of course, they met again in
Canary
Windy
Wharf
City
Classic 2014
Chicago,
first round match.
It was a far better match
Peter
to watch.
Barker
So the players,
serving,
they learn from these
Saurabh
situations
Ghosal of India receiving.
and make things better.
Best of 5 games. Love all.
So it's Peter Barker, all in black, starts off this third first round of the evening.
1-1.
Yeah, I remember watching sort of Ghosal playing Peter Creed, and neither player is very tall, but they're both incredibly fast, and it was such an exciting match between the two players, scurrying around the court, just exceptional speed, and that was the standout match in Chicago in the early rounds, that's for sure.
It's quite a contrast, having just watched Adrian Waller and James Willstrop, these giants of the game, to see tiny. We were just saying he's about 5'6" apparently, so very small guy.
Well, Joey always thinks that they're smaller than they actually say.
Is that because he's such a giant among men?
Well, yeah. In his own mind.
Oh, it's because he wears those heels, isn't it? Yeah, cool. How tall are you, Lee Drew?
I am just under 6 foot.
Are you? Just under the... Oh, dear.
Yeah.
I thought no man ever admitted that.
Well, I'm quite happy to admit it. So I'm going to ask you for a prediction here in this match. What do you think is going to happen?
This is a much more difficult one to call than the Waller-Willstrop game. I want to see a proper tussle. I want to see a real fight. I want it to go to 5. I want Tim Garner to be crying because no one can buy any drinks because the game has gone on so long that everyone needs to leave at the end of the night. And in the end, I'm going to say that I'm getting producers saying that he'll be sad because he won't get to go home.
Well, I know Tim Garner's not going to invite you back either.
I'm just making it. I'm burning bridges left, right, and centre here. But yes, in the end, 3-2 Barker. What about you?
Well, I was thinking 3-1 for Peter Barker. Don't think he'll be 20 minutes, that's for sure. I think maybe 20-minute first game. I mean, it all depends on the lines that Peter Barker hits. We've seen it's been quite easy to leave the ball short on this court and not find the back corners. And if you do that against Saurabh Ghosal, you're not going to make the court long enough. And then when you take the ball into the front, he's very good at counter-punching. He uses his pace onto it superbly. So you've got to be so careful when you're playing someone that's dangerous like that. So it's going to be very important for Peter Barker, and he does it exceptionally well, to tie Ghosal down.
So you're anticipating a lot of length?
Yeah, I'm expecting good tight lines from Peter Barker, opening up the front of the court so that you can take the ball in. He'll want to win that length battle.
Right. So 20 minutes for the first game, we think, perhaps?
Yeah, I think so. 20 minutes and 35 seconds.
Oh, okay.
No, I think Peter Barker will definitely look to make it pretty long this first game, get the opening exchanges. He'll want to become comfortable on the court, but not only that, he'll want to put some work into Ghosal, try and take some of the speed out of the legs of the very fast Indian player.
He's not going to tire him out, though, is he?
No, but he might try and slow him down.
Right.
You have to take that edge, and you're talking small percentages, aren't you? And I think it's a case of sometimes with Ghosal, if you open the court up too much, then he's lethal because he'll flick and he'll hold and he'll play those shots in. So it's very much a case of hitting good, tight, accurate lines and almost waiting for Ghosal to initiate something. And then from there, you look to get onto it and attack.
I see, yeah, I understand your point. So out of the two of them, Peter Barker kind of famously fit, but we don't think that's going to make that much of a difference, really, because Saurabh Ghosal also is very sprightly and likes to move the ball around and get down low and dart in and out of the front.
Yeah, it is. I mean, what's good is they're obviously different in their fitness, aren't they? Because you've got you've got the pure power and strength of Peter Barker. And when you play Peter Barker, you really know about it. You can feel his presence constantly. You know, so he looks to take up large areas of the court, and he looks to be dominant.
That's a physicality, is it?
Yeah,
Or that's
without doubt.
that's a stance or a attitude of mind?
Well, it's a bit of everything, isn't it? He's quite aggressive. Someone like Gaultier, he's a short player, but actually has a great presence across the middle of the court. And Peter Barker's very similar. Obviously, he's bigger in stature, but you can see he makes himself quite big as he's going into the ball. When he goes into the back corners, he takes his space and makes himself big. And I think it's just a very good presence that he creates. I think, the other thing is obviously he is looking to make sure that he looks as though he can get every ball and cover everything, and that's a big psychological thing to have.
What, never bending over, always being the last one standing, as he does. Thank you, producer.
Yes. Good. 4-3.
Well, so it's pretty even so far in this first game. Peter Barker just eking out a 1-point lead at 4-3.
Some quite brutal hitting from the left-hander.
Yeah, he certainly is relentless with his ball striking. Likes to play at a very even tempo, but it's a pretty solid and fast tempo.
Yeah, we really saw in the last game that Waller didn't manage to up the pace against Wilstrop, which was what we felt he needed to do in order to try and make some inroads into Wilstrop's game. But this is quite another. This is quite another style. This kind of fast on top of the ball.
Well, completely. In the way that Peter Barker plays, he actually drags his opponent into that rhythm. So Sourav Ghosal will very much be looking to break that pattern up. So I expect to see Ghosal slowing the ball down, then injecting the pace there, holding and flicking the ball across. So he'll be doing whatever he can to take Peter Barker out of his favoured rhythm. Because he's one of the best players in the world at that pace. Well, he is one of the best players in the world anyway, but just the fact that, at that pace, he's right up there as in one of the very best. And when he plays to, say, the top 4 in the world, they will drag him out of that comfort zone.
So it's about shot selection and mixing it up, you think?
I think so.
Video review,
well, we're going to have our first video review here.
Ghosal on the stroke decision.
What do you think here, Kate? Talk us through this decision as you see it.
I'm always a bit we've got in the commentary box, we've of course got a lot of people talking in our ears, and I sometimes wonder what's gonna. Yeah, we sometimes have the answers before they're given. So it's quite a skill to be able to not tell the answer before it arrives. Stroke given.
Well, the referee's obviously feeling that Sourav Ghosal prevented Peter Barker's swing, so he couldn't actually take a swing, and that's why they gave a stroke there.
Did you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think Peter Barker couldn't really hit the ball. Well, that's a great shot from Peter Barker. You can't leave the ball there.
Look at him getting down as well. What a lovely camera angle. Seeing him right on top of the ball, poking it straight into the corner.
It's one of those things, left-handers become very good on the backhand volley, because what happens is you want to play, as a left-hander, you want to play down the forehand side, and you get used to right-handers wanting to switch it across to your backhand. So if people get it wrong, left-handers are generally very good across the middle on the volley, because they're looking from the forehand side, ready for the cross-court the whole time. And I think that was one of those examples.
That's a great get.
Stroke to Ghosal.
Well, the referees are basically saying that Peter Barker's
clear.
given Ghosal no access whatsoever. And if you don't give your opponent access, and I don't think Peter Barker could, he was in
Failed
big
to clear
trouble.
on that one.
But if you don't clear it and you don't provide access, and they deem the player can get it, then it's a stroke.
Accept or review, please.
Is this
Don't
the
think Peter
time?
Barker will
Is this
review
the time to use a review or not?
And
I don't
It's-
think
I
so.
think he is. He just causing, or is he
4-8.
just kind of having a chat, and he actually probably perhaps realises.
Well, he's probably disappointed at the fact that he's done so well to get that ball, and then he's just not quite been able to clear.
It was a great get, but he couldn't. He didn't have control of it.
Yes, let it. 4-8.
So you'll review this one because
Video
Ghosal went a
review,
long way
please.
up and
Mr.
round.
Barker on the yes.
Now, what you've got to look for here is, did Ghosal have a line? Could he have gone and fetched that ball? So if we look at this, Ghosal's up and round. Once he's up and round, should he go and get that ball?
Well,
And that's the
he'd
key.
been misled though, had he not? He'd gone the wrong way.
Yeah, which is good from Peter Barker, isn't it?
Exactly. So he's trying to, and also there's quite a lot of making a
could see
point
this
of
being-
it.
well,
No let.
it's absolutely no surprise that that's been
Decision
put into a
overruled,
no
Mr.
let, I don't
Barker
think,
has
because
one
you
review
look at that,
remaining.
and Ghosal got himself into a bit of
And
trouble.
out.
Good shot by Peter
9-4.
Barker. There was access. Okay, there was a bit of interference, but it's probably minimal. I think you've got to go and fetch that ball.
And he partly made the problems for himself by going for the let and saying, "Oh look, here I am! I'm, all over him."
Up.
They're very close to each other on the court the whole time, aren't they? They're kind of climbing over one another.
And out. 5-9. And out.
Great triple boast there
10-5. Game ball.
from Peter Barker to give him 5 game balls. This is quicker. This is quicker than I thought the first game would go for Barker.
It's definitely quicker than I said.
Oh yeah. Final
Well,
point.
there you go. It's a nice angle from
Gives
Peter
Barker.
Barker. Closes out that first game.
Barker leads.
So how many minutes is that then?
11.
Of the and how much money have I won?
So it's a 12-minute first game. Peter Barker taking it 11-5, and the man from London, the number 3 seed, leads by 1 game to love.
Well, we were expecting to see quite a long and prolonged first game as the two players feel their way around the court and try to work out what the strategy is to clinch this game. Peter Barker has come off the stronger. He took that game 11-5, and he was certainly the more physically imposing on the court throughout the game. You see the smaller man, Surav, scampering about, but not able to make the challenges when he had the chance. 11-5, Peter Barker.
Well, it was certainly a very good performance from Peter Barker. I think what he did well was he was trading with Surav Ghosal, but he was trading on his own terms, and Peter Barker was managing to hit those tight, accurate lines and then looking to pick the ball off from there. And I thought it was very good. I mean, when you were watching that, what do you think Surav Ghosal needs to do now to be able to come back in this second game?
Yeah, it's all about the things that we've talked about, the kind of physicality of Peter Barker. He's imposing himself on the ball, and he's in front most of the time. He looks like the more commanding presence on court at the moment. So Surav Ghosal needs to mix things up a bit more, I think. He needs to make sure that he's managing to use his speed and his shot selection to get in front more often and to take control in that regard.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see if Surav Ghosal can disrupt Peter Barker.
15
Once he
seconds.
gets into this rhythm, it's incredibly difficult to get out of it. I
So
mean,
pace
yeah,
of play is basically the point here, is it?
I think so. I think it's down to the pace of play. I think it's about getting those opportunities to be able to attack and fire the ball in, because Ghosal can take the ball in incredibly well, but he just needs that little bit of space to be able to do so.
I think, and also, to be honest, Peter Barker's done incredibly well in that first game to take it so decisively. I mean, he's playing well, but I don't think he's running the show, and I don't think that that's a case of
Barker
Ghosal
leads
not
by 1
starting
game to
well.
love.
I think it's more a case of what Peter Barker's done well. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep it up.
Well, it's Peter Barker that starts off this second game.
This is the pace that we're talking about. And in fact there, when Peter Barker then moved up and cut the ball across, he was able to speed up the pace at that last moment, having lulled him into a false sense of security, basically.
Well, exactly. I mean, at the moment, you're seeing Peter Barker dictating play, basically. So he's actually finding the back corners. He's getting sort of Ghosal stretching on the length, and then that means that he can take up high positions in front on the tee. So he gets that tee control, and then from there he can do what he wants, basically.
Stroke to Barker.
And that's a fair stroke, isn't it? Thing is, even when talking about the metronomic quality of Peter Barker's play, even when it speeded, so that rally was much faster exchanges, all the volleys backwards and forwards, but it was still, there was a regularity to the rhythm that Ghosal's not breaking up.
Yeah, I think it's going to be important that Ghosal actually starts to go a bit higher on the front board to stop Peter Barker from dictating play quite so much. You know, you get the ball high, get it up and over your opponent. That's the sort of the unplayable space. You know, you can't reach it, so you have to wait for it to go past and then go and fetch it from the back of the court.
It's a lovely shot from Peter Barker. Really forced the error at that point.
Again, though, what pressure is Peter Barker under at the moment?
Not much.
No, he's very settled. He's able to set himself on the court and then from there execute a shot with options.
It's really interesting to see off the back of that wheel stop game as well how important it is to get the other person to, you know, sing to your hymn sheet, if that's the phrase. You know, to go along with your idea about what the game is going to be. And I think that might be the difference between the kind of top 10 players like Peter Barker and the guys like Ghosal, who are near, very close. You know, he's the highest ranked Indian player ever, but not quite there yet. Of course, this will all be undermined when he wins in 5.
Yeah, when the big comeback.
Out. And out.
Appreciative applause there from the crowd. They want to see this. They want what I want. They want the 5-setter.
Well, we definitely saw that with the crowd yesterday. They were sort of hungry for blood after a bit of an upset. Of course, they got that with Max Lee taking out Karim Darwish.
I think he's going to progress, Max Lee. That was quite unexpected. Although there was some talk of Darwish being, you know, not fully fit.
Pick up, please. Well, I mean, Karim Darwish has come back from a difficult period, but I think both players, the Colombian cannonball Rodriguez and Max Lee, will see that as a great opportunity to progress. And of course, Dave Palmer will be sitting at home very pleased because he coaches both of those players. So he's having a positive impact on them.
Difficult to know what he's going to say to them then.
All right.
Well, he'll just let them get on with it. He'll watch it from a neutral perspective. He'll analyse from a coaching perspective, so he could discuss that with them. But he's having a great impact on a lot of his players he's working with. Stephen Coppinger sitting very high in the rankings. Annie Au, of course, doing very well, getting a lot of scalps in the ladies' game. She had a great Hong Kong, reaching the final. Semi-finals actually. Lost out to Raneem El Walili in semis. So 6-1 to Peter Barker in this second game.
don't think this is fair. I'm sad. I don't, 6-1 is not. Do you think that's a representative scoreline of what we're seeing?
Well, I think so, because I think the solid dominance is coming from Peter Barker at the moment.
How do you reckon Surav's going to get into this?
Well, if he carries on doing what he's doing at the moment, it's simple. He won't. But the key is he's got to start to go high on that front wall, I think. He needs to buy himself time because at the moment he's all at sea. I mean, to be fair to Peter Barker, he's been absolutely clinical so far.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of mistakes, or he hasn't seemed to be out of position really at all. These backhands that you're talking about as well, very, very strong from Peter Barker.
Yeah, again, he's just looking to impose himself, isn't he, on his opponent across the middle of the court. So he's getting some good tee control at the moment.
Shot.
I mean, Peter does like it here. He's a Londoner, he's at home. And of course, in 2011 and last year, he's reached the finals.
So something to prove, maybe. This is he needs to get through. He's going to get through this game and progress. That's the plan.
Well, he'll be looking to. I mean, he's beaten Wilshrop here before, and he's beaten Nick Matthew here before. So,
do you see him as a realistic contender for the title?
I mean, it's difficult to see him as a contender at the moment, but who knows? I mean, he's in great form at the moment. I mean, obviously, if you're going to put money on anyone at the moment, you'd be looking at
You'd be mad to. Surely Nick Matthew, you'd have to put your money on him, even despite the fact that.
We saw you lost your position on that one.
Well, lost my position about 5 shots in the cup.
Yeah.
He's arguing that he's out of position anyway.
3-8.
Yeah, I think it's a good decision. I think it's one of those ones where actually the referees can just say to the player, well, go and get it, go and get that ball.
And you're a big fan of this as well, with your referee liaison job. What are we calling it?
Referee and refereeing director.
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to undermine it. Kingly Drew.
Well, you saw the anger from Peter Barker there.
And out.
Gave the referees a filthy look after that shot. There we see it. That's it. Not sure Ghosal knows what to do here as he trails 9-3 in this second. Well, Malcolm Wilshrop, of course, James Wilshrop's father, works with Sourav Ghosal, and he'll be speaking to him in between games. He's certainly got his work cut out here at the moment.
This is exactly what we're talking about, though, because he was in a really good position in the forehands front court, and he let Peter Barker dictate the pace, which meant that they were moved back towards the back corner, and then Barker's controlling. He's making the shots, and again he's in charge.
Well, he is. He's very much in charge, and he now has 7 game balls in this second. Well, he's on the run. That's going to be it. And Peter Barker secures the second game against an increasingly dejected Sourav Ghosal.
2 games to love.
So 24 minutes of play so far. Quick fire, 11-3 in the second game. And it's Peter Barker who leads. 2 games to love.
And that second game was again all about the pace of play being dictated by Peter Barker. even when Sourav Ghosal managed to get forward and push up to the front of the court, he was hitting shots that were then intercepted by the bigger man and then being dragged out into lengthier rallies that he was not able to take advantage of. Peter Barker's strength of shot really standing him in good stead there as he took that game 11-3.
Well, very impressive stuff from Peter Barker. I thought this was going to be an incredibly tight game between the two players, but Peter Barker's being so dominant, so clinical, and very impressive. I mean, how on earth is Sourav Ghosal going to get back into this?
Well, that's the question. I mean, we've come up with quite a lot of solutions, I think, and unfortunately, he doesn't seem to be adopting many of them. Firstly, the crucial point is, of course, to get in front. But unfortunately, when he was managing to do that, Peter Barker was then luring him back again and taking charge of the centre of the court. So he's just on the tee. He's all over it. And now what we need to see is if he can come back at the end of that second game and make something of this third.
Well, Sourav Ghosal's very dejected at the moment, and you can just see top right, it's not actually Malcolm Wilstrop talking to Sourav Ghosal, it's Mick Todd, who is James Wilstrop's manager. Mick Todd's actually got a very good aspiring son who's just won the English Championships at under 13 level.
Oh, wow. So goodness me, they're so incredibly good at under 13.
Well, they're all very good at Pontefract, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So Peter Barker on court very early. He'll be a very happy man so far. He doesn't look very happy as we look at the close-up.
Is he a man who often looks happy?
I think he'll look happy when he's shaking hands at the end. See, Peter Barker is wearing those compression socks that a lot of the players are wearing at the moment. Of course, it helps with the circulation, it helps to prevent cramp, and Peter Barker has had problems with his calves, and obviously he's wearing those as precaution to help protect any injuries that you could get, so they'll keep him warm and help with circulation, basically.
Yeah, because he was on crutches up at Manchester, wasn't he? He ripped something.
Yeah, he ripped the calf in 2 places and then was on crutches.
Crumbs.
Made him miss Hong Kong as well.
Surely that's pretty difficult to recover from. It's amazing to see his movement like this.
Well, it is, but these players are so resilient and they're so obsessive with every little detail. Getting themselves ready, getting themselves right. And when they're faced with adversity and a massive tear or two sort of point tear of the calf, it's just something that they go about and they break it down and work hard with the physios and they just go about getting it right again and building it up and getting it strong, and that's just how they live their lives.
Down and out. 1-2.
So it's a slightly better start from Ghosal.
We want this Canary Wharf crowd to really get behind the underdog, I think.
Yeah, I don't think they will, though, will they? Because they'll be quite happy that Peter Barker, the local favourite, is winning. Just see Omar Mossad in the background, looking very serious.
Serious man.
He's probably thinking about his next victim tomorrow.
He's probably thinking about his lunch. He's got quite a stern profile, I think.
Well, Joe was saying yesterday that Omar Mossad would definitely be a Bond villain.
Brutal. Great reactions there from Sourav Ghosal.
Yes, lad.
And a cheeky little push there, perhaps, from Peter Barker and the let given.
Sufficient interference, not good enough. Right, please. 1-2.
Was he questioning it, or was he just asking which side?
Well, in the end, he was asking which side, but Clive Smith decided to give him the explanation regardless, whether he was or not.
Earning their money, referees.
very impressive from Peter Barker, but actually, if you think about the opportunities that Saurav Ghosal has had, they've been absolutely minimal, and you can probably count them on one hand. And that's all credit to the lines that Peter Barker is hitting, and he's just being completely dominant.
He's making brilliant use on that. He's making really great use of his backhand drop, using it to get Saurav Ghosal out of position, make him run again to that his forehand corner, and then force the error as he returns to the tee. He does look dejected, doesn't he?
Well, he's probably just running out of ideas. He's not quite sure what to do on here at the moment.
That's a great shot from Peter Barker, changing the angle at the last minute.
But again, look where Peter Barker's playing the shot from. He's in the middle of the court. Okay, he's stretching up, but he's got complete tee control at the moment. And he is setting Ghosal up with combinations of shots. You know, he's pushing the ball into the front, he's looking for the follow-up on the volley, or he's hitting the ball into the back, he's then stepping into the short ball.
Thing is, though, Ghosal's not making it hard enough for him, in the sense that, yeah, he is working him around the corners of the court, but he's not making it hard enough. You know, he's not following up on each of the. So, for example, instead of fighting for the tee, he seems to be always scrambling rather than managing to seize control of the point.
Yeah, I think it's just a case of he's fallen into a trap, and it's just so difficult when you're on there to find an answer and problem solve, especially when you've got someone that's you know, okay, he's number 9 in the world now, but he's been sat in the top 8 in the world for a very, very long time until recently. Once they've got you, they just don't let go, and they are ruthless.
We were calling Nick Matthew yesterday the Predator. Is that the same idea?
Well, he's the wolf, but he is a massive predator. I mean, don't get many players, well, in fact, there's probably no players that are more predatorial than Nick Matthew.
Yes, lad. Right, please.
We can just see there as the camera follows Saurav Ghosal around the back of the court. He's very dejected.
Surely someone should tell you never to stand in that corner, so looking so crushed and crumpled when you're trying to, hopefully still trying to win.
Down.
I think you forget a lot of things when it's all going wrong for you, and
16.
a glass court can be a very unforgiving place.
Especially at Canary Wharf, and there's nowhere to hide. Everyone's very, very near, and that's what makes it such a great tournament, but also that's one of the things that might make it a bit more intimidating for the players.
Well, he needs a spark here, and I don't think it's going to come. See Peter Barker 7-2 up in this third game.
7-2.
Well, that's a bit more like it from Ghosal. He actually opened up the court a bit more and got a bit of reactive stuff going on, and that's what he's very good at.
3-7.
That was creative, that as well. He managed to get Peter Barker out of position and then force the error.
Yes, lad. 3-7.
That's a pity for Ghosal. He was really showing some great play in that rally and more of the creative thought that we reckon he needs to find if he's going to make his way back into this game, let alone this match.
Well, it's a big ask, isn't it, from 2-love down, 7-3 down. He's up on the receiving end again in this rally.
And the problem is, you know, the end. As soon as you're on the end of a string, like Ghosal is, you're tired, and the other guy's in front, and he's making you look bad. It's pretty demoralising.
8-3.
We'll go to a very honest player, indicating that his ball was down.
That's really great to see.
Stroke to Barker.
He looks very dejected,
9-3.
very despondent as he trots back to his return position.
Trots.
We didn't quite trot, did he?
No, kind of did. I want to give him a hug.
Down.
Unforced error there from Peter Barker. That's quite a surprise. Losing a bit of concentration, feels he's got it all wrapped up.
Well, again, you just saw maybe there was a lapse, but Peter Barker was angry with himself making that error, and he probably won't do it again, that's for sure.
It's a lovely touch there from Ghosal, but then he was punished by Peter Barker. Couldn't make that drive.
Well, Ghosal hadn't put Peter Barker out of
10-4
position enough to be able to
ball.
take that ball in, and it means that Peter Barker now has 6 match points, and there it is, the error from
Match won by
Ghosal.
Barker.
Peter Barker coming through potentially a very
3 games
tough
to love.
battle, but he came through
11-5,
with flying colours.
11-3.
And we're going to go down courtside to Peter Nicol and see what Peter Barker has to say.
Congratulations on that win. You looked incredibly sharp there. 2 final places in the last 3 years. Is this the year you're going to go on to win it?
I've got a tough draw. That's all I'm going to say. No, I mean, that was a very, very tricky first round. Soro's been playing very well, so sometimes having a tough draw and having to be on your game from the word go kind of helps. And obviously I've prepared, as always, as best I can for the event, and I'd love to win this event before I retire. I'm getting old. I feel old. No, I don't feel too bad. But I'd love to, yeah, of course. Final last year, I've got a long way to go. I mean, I've just got to probably have to play Ros in the next round. I lost to him last time, so, you know, it's that sort of up and down. So, but very, very happy with the way I've started this week.
Awesome, well played. And also, I mean, since we saw you last year, you have a new addition to your family. And so how important is it to play at home, play here in Canary Wharf, and what does it mean to you to play here?
Well, I'm not actually in the hotel, which is a bit of a shame because I don't get as much sleep. But yeah, my wife and I sit over there, had a son 10 months ago tomorrow. So yeah, it's been great. Obviously, puts a different perspective on certainly squash, on life. But you know, it's the only tournament that my friends and family can come and support. You know, normally they're watching on a tiny screen. So hopefully get lots of support, and you know, I'll try and do everyone proud.
Well, congratulations and good luck for the rest of the week. We'll have a 5-minute break before the next match.
So in a quick fire 37 minutes, it's Peter Barker that takes that match, winning it 11-5, 11-3, 11-4 to progress into the quarterfinals.
Well, that clinical display from Peter Barker just then meant that Sourav Ghosal didn't really get the chance to get his teeth into the game. He should have, I mean, at the end he was really running off court pretty much, so keen was he to escape. But it was the pace of play was a crucial element. Peter Barker was dictating that throughout the game in all 3 games, and it was also short, fast games where he was managing to use his metronomic skill at making everything run his way. Sourav Ghosal didn't really get into it.